So as promised, I am going to be releasing this video. It will be the start of the channel's actual content. Um, so yeah, just with that out of the way, just a couple things about what I'll be doing today. I'm going to be starting a I'm going to be installing Void Linux and then reviewing it from there. Now, to be clear, I have used Void Linux in the past. It is one of my favorite Linux distributions. That's part of the reason I'm doing this, to spread awareness about the distribution, so you can see, what it's like to use it and how it might benefit you. That said, I am sort of a biased source, so I wouldn't take everything I say, with the biggest. I wouldn't take everything I say without that into consideration, because I'm not the perfect person. I am a little biased. Now, all of that said, I by no means you necessarily am I saying that you should use this distribution specifically because it is a little bit more advanced. It is something more like Arch or more like Gentoo. So I wouldn't be recommending this to you. I wouldn't say, if you're a new user, please don't use this distribution. I would like you to have a positive introduction to Linux, and while you might figure this out, it would maybe take a little bit. The learning curve right off the bat would be so much more difficult than something like Linux Mint or Ubuntu, because those are meant for beginners. They really the user interface, it's clean, it's well established, it's trusted by the community. So just with that out of the way, I just want to make sure everybody knows that there's no pressure or anything. I just like to spread awareness about distributions that I like and that haven't been really talked about, because if we're being honest, when's the last time you talked about Void Linux? Alright, so let's just I just need to hop into my virtual machine manager real quick. Alright. I'm in. Okay, now we are at the QEMU KVM Vote Manager GUI application. As I mentioned before, it wasn't all that clear, but I use QEMU with the KVM hypervisor. I can answer a lot of different questions about virtualization and what you might want to use and all that. So I can do a video on it. Just let me know. So let's just power this on real quick. Pop it open. Yeah, close that. Void Linux. Alright, let's go in full screen. Oh. I did this once before, and it appears as though it didn't boot right into the the CD-ROM. So let's just make sure boot options. Let's just move you up. Apply. Okay, we just gotta restart the machine. Oh, nope. That's wrong. It doesn't like me. Okay, we just gotta force it off. Yep. There's some things that I don't like forcing it to go off, but in this case, it's just being a pain in the rear one. There we go. Alright, so we're just gonna pretend like it's brand new installation. Or okay, so we're just gonna get in full screen here. So an important thing to note about Void Linux is that it is a it has two different images. Now, if you want a graphical image, graphical environment right off the bat, that's how you work. You just want the workflow. This is what you want. I have the XFCE version. Now, there is no other version that has a GUI, so it automatically comes with XFCE. Now, if you do not want a graphical user interface, whether you want it for a server or whether you just want to run it as some low level server on your PC, or just you want to I don't know, or you just want to customize the desktop yourself, they do have a base installation as well, so you don't just need to apply the XFCE, you can do base. And then, speaking of, there is the installation in which you have to pick between glibc and Musel. Now, glibc is what can best be described. It's the GNU version, so it's going to have all of the the core utils like Troot. See, this is the glibc version. Troot is a core util from GNU. But if you would like Musel, I believe that comes with BusyBox. I have not used it in some time because unpopular opinion, I prefer glibc, because I just haven't gotten quite used to Musel. I am working on. I am going to. I'm gonna work on it again. I just need to find the time to reinstall it. All right. So now we know what we're working with this distribution, with this version. So we have the XFCE glibc version. So first off, we just want to run void installer. This will start up a TUI, which is, for the unacquainted, is a terminal user interface. So it's going to be, your basic ncurses, your config thing, like if you ever compiled Gentoo, not that you probably haven't, and I don't encourage it for new users, but if you have but if you have compiled Gentoo, you know what I mean. You'll probably see it in a minute. 1 second. I just need to run this as sudo. This is exactly what I mean. It's your basic ncurses looking thing. It's that halfway point between a GUI and a just command line interface. So I'm just going to sort of read off the steps and explain what each of them are, as if you were actually doing it. So their motto, which I'm gonna say is pretty badass, is enter the void, because Void Linux. So you see written right there, So this is just a quick message. So welcome to the Void Linux installation, a simple and minimal Linux distribution made from scratch and built from the source package tree available for XBPS, a new alternative binary package system. This installation should be pretty straightforward. If you're in trouble, please join us at. Then it lists in a Libreria IRC chat and the specific channel for that. Room, I'm sorry, not channel. So first, set system keyboard. The default is US, which is what I use, but should you need to, this is just the wide, they have almost everything you can think of, it's your basic. Pick one. Just let me get to U. Did I miss it? Nope. Network. Now, at this point, you would be clicking, not Etho, if you are using a wireless machine, you'd be clicking, WLANO, or, what is it? It's like W, or anything that starts with a W is wireless. But if it's E, it's Ethernet. That's the best way I have to describe it. And because of the bridging with virtual machines, this is Ethernet with, it's going to use DHCP. Network is working properly. Source installation. Now this is big. So let's say you got the XFCE image for glibc or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But you can do it locally, which is what I'm gonna do because I just want it off the. I just want to get I just want the graphic. I just want the XFCE off the right off the bat. But if you would like a base system only, because maybe you change your mind, you can do it over the network. Now that would also mean that it would be updated. It would not be you wouldn't need to necessarily update it the moment you reboot. I mean, I would still recommend it, just so you know that you're on the same wavelength as the other updates and such. And quick note: this is rolling release. They only have one image on their website that they haven't updated. That is updated, frequently, but it's not. You're still gonna have to update your machine. That's about it on this. So I'm just gonna do local. Host name. Let's just do something. Voided USB locale US. I was gonna install this on a USB. I'm not. I'm just going to. I'm gonna use this virtual machine to build LFX, so I don't mess with any. 1 second. I think I missed something. So I don't mess with any of the. I missed it. So I don't mess with any of the settings with root privilege and such with on my actual machine. And I'm going to record it because I'm not a fan of compiling everything, but if I'm being honest, it is a fun process as long as you aren't just doing it alone. It's nice to do it, either talking to a camera or just, maybe you have a YouTube video alongside. It's something similar to that. Because it is a very long, drawn-out process. Root password. Oh, no. I shouldn't care or not. I mean, it's a VM, so it's not a huge concern of mine, but I still like my security. That's because everyone knows my name. Doesn't matter really. John. Okay, and then in the password. And then I'm just clicking into that because that's what you just saw, that that list of things that's automatically set to the default groups that you would be in if you just installed Ubuntu or something. You don't need to actually add yourself to any of these. It does it automatically, unless there's something special you want. Maybe you want to give you want to be able to configure everything about your network while you're on your non-privileged account, and I guess you could do that if you really want to. That's basically what groups are. I mean, that's simplified a lot, but set disk to install bootloader. That's done. Okay, partition disks. Now I shouldn't need to partition these too badly. I believe these have already been. Yes. Okay, I am going to just delete all these. I'm just going to start from the beginning. I had done it on this virtual machine previously. I had installed it. I just like to make sure everything is, everything is good when I show people how to do such things. Alright. Partition size, not 20 gigs. So I'm just making a BIOS boot partition. That's all you need is like 1 megabyte. And then a swap partition, that's going to be about 3. And then new, and that's going to be about 17. That's going to be, so just so you understand what I'm doing the BIOS MBR table, BIOS master boot record table. So you're going to have, your 1 mil, it's not required, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a 1 megabyte BIOS boot, BIOS boot labeled partition. This will not be formatted. It'll automatically do what it does what it needs to once Grub gets its hands on it. Set to swap, and then that's set to the file system. Right. Yes. Right. It's written. Configure file systems and mount points. 1. Okay. So, SDA1. That's gonna be... Oh, nope, there's nothing there. Swap, Linux swap, yes. And then I'm just going to ext4. Alright. Done. Now configure file systems and mount points. Oh, did that already. I'm sorry. Back. Okay. Now there was a way to just check what you did. So if you go down, you see where it's highlighted OK down there. Hit the left arrow. It'll take you to settings. Now it just shows you what all you set. So it says, key map. I set it to US, network, etho with DHCP, source, local, hostname, voided USB, locale, time zone, root password, all that. Now it won't show the root password in case somebody's looking at your computer. That's just in case, safety reasons. Start. Do you want to continue? Yes. Alright, now this is going to be very quickly because all it has, very quick, because all the installer has to do is copy the live image, to the root, file system. This only takes a little bit of time because the actual file system, the actual root file system is it's small in comparison, but it's small, and when it's copying rather than installing, so it's not just downloading a bunch of things from the network or something. Just while this is installing, a good thing to note about Void Linux, I guess this is, we're not doing anything. It's it does not use systemd. It is systemd free. For although now, most people, not most people, there's a good chunk of people that don't care what system init they use. But for the chunk that do, or don't care but still think it's interesting to know what they're using, this specific distribution uses Runit, which is the system in it. I mean, there's sys in it. There's nothing else to really elaborate on there. It does its one job, and it does its one job well if you are into that sort of Unix philosophy thing. Do you want to reboot the system? Yes. At this point, we're done installing. Just gonna reboot. Yep. It booted into the... I forgot to take it out. Alright, here. That is entirely my fault. Wow. Okay. Apply. Yeah. Let's just go here and then sudo shutdown. Not shutdown. I'll just do power off. I'll just shut it down. Alright, and then we'll pop it open. There we go. Let's get into full screen mode. Void /Linux. Alright, we are in. So I'm just going to log in here. So this is what you're going to see. Yeah, again, it's XFCE, so it's very light. I believe I mentioned that. If I didn't, XFCE is one of the lightest desktop environments and one of the most configurable. Now let's just pop open a terminal. I just want to show you guys something. So first, we just need to update the system. That's fairly easy. Just sudo. This is xbps install syu. Now, for those who have used Arch Linux or something based on Arch Linux in the past, you may recognize some of the syntax for installations. You always do -s. For this, you're doing a whole system update. So you're doing syu. It's very similar in that sense, except there is no remove for xbps install. It has its own command. So I know I need to update xbps. It will prompt you to do this, but I'm doing this because I know it's out of date. Now we'll just run SYU to do the full system upgrade. It's going to do a lot of updating, just so you know. There is nothing it's minimal, but there's nothing, it's nothing short of a, just waiting. So I guess just while it's doing that, just just tell me what you think about it in the comments. I want to know. As it is, I like to know what people think of what people are gonna think of the stuff I do, the content I make. Again, Linux content. This isn't always the most exciting things in the world, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that likes hearing exactly what's happening and all that, which I understand. I completely appreciate. Being informed is one of the best things you can be, but I also appreciate that it's not always the most exciting thing in the world. I guess just a making conversation. So everybody knows what I'm running. I hate to be too cliche, but I use Arch, by the way. On a old converted Chromebook. Which you can say what you will. I use Chromebooks as a mean to an end because they're cheaper and they are becoming better machines, albeit it's not glorious by any stretch of the term, but it is. It's pretty usable. I am sorry. As a matter of fact, I've had 3 Chromebooks that I've converted into Linux. One I broke because I'm not entirely sure how it broke, but it did. The other one I thought it broke, but it brought itself back to life. I actually have Void Linux installing natively on that one, bare metal. And there's a computer behind me that you guys can't see. I'm using it as a very, very low-powered home server. I basically just keep files on it. And that's running Void Linux as well. I tried to install Turnkey, but I haven't had any luck with that. I'm not sure whether it's just out of date or defunct at this point, or it's just, I don't know. I'm not a server person. I know what I'm doing to an extent. I know how to set up a server, and I know how to SSH HD into it and all that. But I am certainly not a network admin or anything. I'm not a systems administrator. Well, yeah, I'm not a systems administrator. I'm not a network admin. Alright, I don't do this professionally. But from what I can tell, at least with Linux, you can install anything and it'll work as a server as long as you have a good connection to it. or at least especially a file server, like a home server file thing, like I'm using it. All it needs is an internet connection, and you can download your files onto it. That's how I use it. Maybe that's not a home server, and I'm just completely off base, but, you know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else worth pointing out, really. In case you noticed the change, I am in my basement. You know, this should be the longest update you'll ever have to do unless you let it go for a very long time, but odds are you won't. Now I would like to make the distinction between the two. Earlier I said it's rolling release, so it only really has one image. That is exactly what that is. It's rolling release. But that doesn't mean that it's bleeding edge. As far as I know, it's not updated as much as something like Arch. For example, it's running 5.18. Let me just pop out of here real quick. I believe I am running uname 5.19. It's it's running an older kernel, which is fine, honestly. You know, it's still rolling release, but it is held back a little bit. Actually, a lot, if we're being honest. Okay, let's just clear it. Now, now that we're fully updated, there's just I guess we can just look around. So, by default, I think this is just XFCE. So, you know, if I'm off base, then, you know, at this point, it's probably just looking at the DE. But you know, there's Firefox comes natively. You know, Thunar, everything like that. Let's see here. It comes if for those using the base image, I believe it comes with Nano natively. Vim, VI. It comes with VI natively. I would not recommend holding on to that. So once you install it, once you install Void, I would highly recommend not using VI. I don't use it. I use Vim, which is VI improved, so it's source code. It's a forked version of Vim, VI. But VI can be a little more difficult to learn. I'd say it's more user-friendly to use something like Nano or Vim, which is, you know, again, more user-friendly than VI. So let's just quickly sudo xvps install. I'm just going to show you these two just so you know what I mean. For those that are unfamiliar with command line based editors. Alright. So let's just pop open a Nano session real quick. This is just everything. So the good thing about Nano is that it shows everything you need to really know at the bottom here. So it shows, you know, what is exit, what is write out, what is, you know, all this. So let's just exit real quick. Let's flex. And then Vim, you'll need to look up the documentation elsewhere, but you know, you can do certain things. Like, for example, you could be a registered Vim user. I have yet to do that. I am not entirely sure what that does, but I guess it just says that you're a Vim user. If you really care, I guess. I don't know. But let's pop out of here. That's all that there really is to Void Linux. The most I can really do is just show you, you know, what the packages are. So let's Pacman. Sorry. Oh, I just installed Pacman. I just used Pac-Man before this video, so I guess it's stuck in my head. So NeoFetch, for those that don't know, it just gives us system information. So again, you know, the Void logo, you know, OS Void Linux, it shows my host, my kernel. 5.13, I'm sorry, it is pretty far behind. I mean, comparably, it's not Debian far behind, but the theme, it's, you know, it's GNOME, that's the GTK theme and such, you know, terminal, that's all NeoFetch really is. That's all I really have. It looks like I'll just be signing off, but thank you. If you enjoyed it, you know, comment, tell me what you thought. Like, subscribe, I don't care. But it'll be nice to talk to you again. To make another video again. So let's just leave full screen. And yeah, it's been real. I'll talk to you later. Bye.